I'm Donnie with Harris Pontoon Boats, and I am here to tell you about our brand new RPM chassis system. It's going to give you a much smoother, drier, and safer ride in the water for you and your family. With our RPM chassis, we had to do many things to achieve a 2-degree plane pitch, so we have a nice, flat, dry, soft ride. One was this transom. We had to widen our transom out in order to get this engine up and out of the water and onto plane. So essentially, we took the whole rear, widened it out, put a nice planing surface on the bottom of this tube. That's what's getting this 400 horsepower, 300 horsepower, or 5, whatever you choose on your boat, up and out of the water and on the plane. The other thing we had to do is the rest of the boat, we need to get it to come up on the plane as well, but at a much higher degree than your traditional tri-tunes. So we now have strakes, lifting strakes, on the inside and outside the tubes. So that achieves that lift all the way to the front of the boat now. We also had to stick a 20-inch transom on instead of the old traditional 25-inch. Most of all the tri-tunes you'll see in the industry, they got a 25-inch high transom, which means you have to have a 25-inch shaft engine. You don't get as much maneuverability out of that. You get more spray coming off the engine, and you also don't have as much control in shallow waters with a 25-inch. So by what we call a stadium transom, dropping it down to 20 inches with that shorter shaft engine allows us to have less blowout in our turns, less spray off the engine at high speeds, and in shallow water, your engine has to be tilted up quite at such a high degree angle so you don't lose your maneuverability at slow speeds. You can keep more prop in the water. The next piece of the RPM chassis is our hydrodynamic nose cone. Because we've achieved that 2-degree plane pitch, our entry point now is going to be at the very front of this nose cone versus all the other competition out there. Their entry point is halfway back in a tube when they're on plane. So when they're hitting the waves, they're breaking those waves with a round part of their tube. For us now, we're breaking the waves at our nose cone. So that's why this had to be completely redesigned. We even brought this into about a 70-degree dead rise here. We tapered the front of this tube like a V-hull boat. So you're literally cutting through the water instead of plowing it out of the way like the competition, giving you a smooth, dry, and safe ride. Part of our construction that kind of flows in with our RPM chassis is our full-length extruded end brackets, which you'll see starts right here. This is what your decking sits down on top of, and then on top, bracing with your tube. That runs the full length, one piece all the way down on both sides. Your competition, the reason I show you underneath this boat like this is because they hide theirs on the outside. If you look in on the competition, you'll see they'll have a spaced end bracket. It's not a full-length one piece like ours. We're much stronger in respect, and that's also part of our heavy-duty water package, as well as the RPM chassis, because when you're on plane running 45 miles an hour, there's a lot of twisting that goes on with the boat. And when you have separated end brackets, you have a lot more play and movement in the boat than you will with a one-piece end bracket. So part of our construction piece is a 3-inch wide rub rail. This is a one-piece extruded rub rail. And you don't want to confuse this with a competition. Everybody else has just an aluminum fascia plate that goes on over this wood decking. So let's take a look underneath at our construction. So big deal here for us is we have an actual 3-inch extruded rub rail, where nobody else in the industry even has anything like this. They just have a piece of aluminum that runs over the side of the boat, and their decking comes all the way out to the very corner. So if you have any kind of impact, hitting another boat, dock, piling, you're going to cause severe damage in here. Where ours, you can see we have 2 inches of reinforcement. And if you ever damage this rub rail, which is pretty tough to do, you can take this whole system right off without having to remove furniture, fencing, and easily replace it, where the competition will have to take off their fencing and the furniture, and it costs thousands of dollars to replace it. And as well as you can also see, which is another big deal for us, our fencing system is actually bolted right through this 3-inch one-piece rub rail system, where everybody else you're going to see out in the industry, they're actually bolted right through their wood decking. So part of our 3-inch rub rail system is we have corner castings, all 4 corners. So you can see how heavy duty this bracing is. Most of your competition is squared off in the back with just a little aluminum cap on it, which those get broke all the time. Our warranty take on these is so low because they're so heavy duty, and it's a rounded edge versus a squared edge.